Brussels will have the power to punish the UK.
Bully boys.
Now, we are hearing this morning, even Remainers are concerned now about how the EU is operating. For the person at home, just explain what this means.
What they're saying, so when we leave next year, in March next year, there'll be a transition period of about 20 months, and the EU is saying if we don't do everything we're told, they will punish us. So they will perhaps limit access to the single market for 18 months. They can fine us. There are 37 laws they can make us accept.
Now, this would be something that would be normal, presumably, if we were still part of the EU. But the point is we don't have any power to fight back.
We'll have no input to influence it whatsoever. So they're saying for 20 months we will effectively be, as Jacob Rees-Mogg said very memorably, a vassal state. We will have to do their bidding. You see, Maguire thinks it's funny.
Kevin,
I don't think it is.
I will tell you why. You continually slag off the EU. You misrepresent it. You smear it.
It's wicked.
Right?
They're bullies.
Wicked. You see, this is ridiculous.
It's a bad club with bad membership rules.
All of a sudden,
wicked might be a stretch.
No, I don't think it is. They're going to say, you don't do this, you don't do that. They're so terrified. We're going to make a good fist of Brexit.
That's what they're saying they want to do as part of negotiations. We don't have to agree to this.
We don't. We can walk away.
No, but the problem again, I come back, it's like Blazing Saddles with the sheriff. The sheriff holds the gun to his head. He says, anyone move, I'm going to pull the trigger, I'll kill myself. If we walk away just like that, without any agreement, the economy will tank. We will be hit hard. Companies are warning increasingly. The British Chambers of Commerce, very respected, not a big EU pro-organisation, warning again. That's why, look, you've got us in this mess, and now you complain about the mess.
Here's what I can't get my head round when I hear about this, right? This apocalyptic picture you're painting, is that what that means is everyone in the European Union, the other 27 countries, right, that they are going to deliberately financially damage themselves by not wanting to continue to do the same amounts of trade with us. And I can't get my logical Spock head from Star Trek around this to say, why would they hurt themselves just to make a point about us? Now, they might want to ideologically, but in reality, aren't they all going to be selfish and just want the money?
They're going to look after their own interests, you're quite right.
That means trading with us.
We're in the club now. People like him have been slagging off the club, want to leave the club, and then complain about the club trying to impose its rules.
But I've left
clubs.
I've left gyms and gone to another one that turned out to be better.
I'm afraid...
Is the global club not likely to be better?
I'm afraid there's not another gym with 450 million people buying our stuff.
It's called the rest of the world, Kevin. It's called the rest of the world. It's called the rest of the world.
Shouting's not
the rest of the world.
Shouting's not going to get us.
Like a skillful politician, you've completely avoided my question.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, their interests, for instance, the French and the Germans think they can steal some of our financial services. They will get the jobs. If we've got a fantastic...
Well, why would France and Germany not want the same business with us or more going forward? Why would they not want the money?
They are a much bigger economy. They're 450 million. We're about 65 million. They're going to protect what they do. We've got a fantastic car industry. We produce a huge number of cars, 1.6, 1.7 million. The most we have for decades, although it's just slipped recently. We export about 80% of those. Quite a few go to Europe.
Is he answering the question?
If our car industry takes a hit, they'll buy more of the cars that they produce. Because they're going to be, unless we're in the customs union, there will be tariffs on it.
Or we have arranged something else.
Yeah, well... Are we arranging it? I agree.
27 countries. 27. Kevin, you talked quite a long time.
You're in a free market now.
It's not a free market.
You will put barriers.
27 countries do an awful lot of business with Britain. They are going to say to Mr Barnier, you cannot impose these swingeing restrictions on Britain because it will affect us. It will make it more difficult for us to sell our German cars to Britain, French Prosecco to Britain. 27 countries will say to the EU Commission, this isn't working for us. And they ultimately will decide it, and Britain will do deals with the other countries.
I think what it could trigger, I genuinely think what could happen. I genuinely think what could happen is this triggers the beginning of the breakup of the EU. Because I think it will be less damaging than the apocalyptic picture people are painting, because it doesn't make sense to me that they would just renounce all the trade they currently have with us.
German car makers will be appalled.
It might be tricky and complicated and a bit of paperwork, but ultimately they're going to want the trade. And if we then look like we're not collapsing out of the club, the club will start saying, well, why are we all paying to be part of the club?
Is that why their negotiation tactics have got even tougher? Is that what they're actually worried about?
They're terrified.
I think terrified.
Look, you would expect this. Now, the domino theory of everyone going to come out was predicted last year. It didn't happen.
Right.
It could happen in the future. You can never predict what's going
It'll
to go
happen
on.
if Britain
But
works outside the club.
Of course, if we're slagging them off and we're being tough, they're going to be tough too. They're negotiations. We're the ones walking away.
At what point, Kevin? At what point do you, as an arch Remainer, I won't use the more abusive term,
I don't mind.
Ramona.
Although you are a
Ramona.
Except
He's
you
a
just-
Ramona.
But at what point?
grumpy old man.
As we head towards the actual moment that this happens, at what point do you veer away from implacable opposition, roundly abusing it all? This is going to be a disaster. To actually feeling like you ought to start talking it up in terms of the reality, because actually at that point we need to talk up the situation for the benefit of the national interest.
I'll follow.
You get my point?
I'll follow the facts. I'll follow the evidence. If the facts change, as Keane, as the economist said,
We could end up my point is we could end up talking ourselves down
But Piers,
He's been doing
so
that for
much
months.
that actually
He's been
it's
doing that for
self-fulfilling.
months. He's a grumpy old
Piers,
man.
It doesn't do anyone any favours by pretending something that is bad is good.
You don't know it's bad,
you
Kevin.
know, get in the clowns if you want to be
Nobody
cheered
thought
up.
we were going to win the Second World War until Churchill basically dug deep, started
No,
talking to us.
Piers.
Oh, no, it's true.
Piers,